Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for our last Focus on Good Health webinar for 2016. My name is Samantha Morris, and I am the Social Media Coordinator for Exit Realty Corp International, as well as the liaison for Focus on Good Health. As we head into one of the busiest times of the year for many, it's important to pause and take a few moments for ourselves. Today I am pleased to be joined by Yogi Salima Kasimlaka. Salima will be discussing the ancient art of meditation, sharing practical tips and techniques to minimize the impact of stress and maximize your potential in just a few minutes each day. She's also offering a free 40-day online meditation challenge to everyone listening, so please stay tuned through until the end of today's presentation for details on how you can participate. Salima began her path of healing and self-realization after a car accident in 2004, and this path eventually led her to training as a yogi. She, in turn, graduated from the School of Yoga Therapy and Natural Medicine. Following her continued education in India, where she began in-depth study of the science of mantra and meditation, she returned to Canada to pursue laughter yoga training, which added lightheartedness and joy to her practice. In 2010, Salima became a master laughter yoga teacher. In the very same year, she also founded Yogapalooza, an outdoor celebration of music, movement, and meditation, and the first festival of its kind in Canada. Salima is a frequent guest speaker at the offices of Exit Realty Corp International on a variety of health and wellness topics, and her dynamic teaching style has been featured on local and national television. In 2011, she was voted Yoga Teacher of the Year by Natural Health Care Canada. And she's also a contributor to Exit's FocusOnGoodHealth.com blog. Salima, I'm so thrilled to have you on today's call. We've known each other now for a few years, and we've had numerous conversations about health and wellness. So when it comes to the topic of meditation, what is it really all about, and why should we be considering it as part of our daily lives? What's the deal?
Thank you, Samantha. It's really great to be here, and thank you. That's a great way to start off our presentation. So first of all, hello everybody. Thank you for joining in on this call. I promise you lots of practical tips and some good news along the way. So there I am staring at you, and now let's begin. Great question, Samantha. What's meditation all about, and what can you gain from a practice of meditation? So let's consider this. We all have really busy lives. Lots going on. We have responsibilities professionally, personally, and in those busy days we have hundreds of thoughts going through our minds and the associated feelings and emotions that go along with it. And all of those things, our thoughts and emotions and how we feel about our thoughts and emotions, are connected to our belief system. When you believe something, it's true in our perception, and the basis of meditation is to really get in there, into that thought system, into that belief system, and find an alternate way. So let's put it this way. Let's use a basic example of driving in the morning, driving to work in the morning, or driving to drop off the kids in the morning. If there's traffic, we tend to have a response to that. And the response may be, oh my goodness, I'm going to be late, or how come nobody can drive? And we tend to get, by the time we get to where we need to go, a little bit of tension and a little bit of frustration along the way. So imagine taking that same drive and not being as rattled by it. Just imagine the benefit and what it might add to your day. And so that's what we're going to explore, is an alternate means to choose differently. And there's good news here, is that with a few moments of quiet, a few moments of pause and reflect, we can actually get there to a different kind of result. You've probably heard the saying that nothing changes unless something changes. And the good news about meditation is that with a few minutes of investment every day, it's very easy to come to a different conclusion. So without further ado, let's get into our presentation. And thank you again for that great question. We're kicking things off in a really powerful way. So for yourself, wherever you happen to be listening in the world, for yourself now, think about a situation, think about a quality that you would like to bring into your life, and for a moment just settle your mind on that. Whatever first appeared in your mind is perfect. Maybe it's more calm, maybe it's more clarity, maybe it's a little bit more awareness of time, or a little bit more love. Whatever it happens to be, that's perfect. And that's where we want to create your personal starting point here. So as you do that, take a deep inhale. Think of that word or that quality or that characteristic. Hold your breath just a little bit, and then softly through the nose, just let it go. And so here's the good news, and here's also the not so good news. Your brain is designed to think 1,000 thoughts per blink of the eye. Imagine that, 1,000 thoughts. Some of them we're consciously aware of, and some of them we're not. And so that's the good news, is that that's what our brains are designed to do. And if we weren't thinking at that rate, we wouldn't necessarily be breathing anymore. So that's the good news, is that that's what your brain is designed to do. It does it very well. And that also leads a lot of people to think, well, hey, I can't meditate. I have too many thoughts going on in my mind. And that's absolutely not true. So there's the good news. There's the even better news, is that amongst all of these thoughts, there can be clarity. And amongst all of these thoughts, there are opportunities to figure out, what am I thinking? Is this serving my greater good, or is this something that's getting in the way? And that's what a meditation practice will do, is to help clear out the clutter and give a little bit more open space. It's like, going back to that analogy of traffic, when the highway is busy and clogged, it's really hard to get to where you want to go, similar to our thinking patterns. But when the highway is clear, or our thinking is clear, it's much easier to get to our final destination, to a goal, to an objective, to a completed task. So that's where we want to begin now, is to have an understanding that that's what the mind is designed to do. Now, how do we work with it? And that's what meditation really offers, is an opportunity to focus, to gain clarity, and then to move forward. And contrary to popular belief, it's not necessarily about clearing all thoughts, but rather to become more aware of all of our thoughts. I'd like to offer you now 5 tips over the course of our remaining time together. 5 key things that you can do and think about in order to establish a meditation practice, perhaps dispel some of the myths that you may have heard about, and actually to gain a little bit of practical experience. So let's go with the tip number 1. Here's my first secret to you, is the first place to start before you even sit down for a meditation experience. Number 1 is to move your body. And this can be anything from walking, to dancing, to rock climbing, to cycling, to yoga. All of these things have a very important benefit, and that is, in order to relax the mind, the body needs to be really relaxed. So the whole focus of a yoga practice, or the whole historical origins of yoga, really come from, how do we systematically move each body part in order to sit down after a few minutes or an hour of practice to get cozy with the mind. So secret number 1 is to move your body. And again, let me throw out some more options. You can put on a song at home and dance around your living room. You can get a chore done, like vacuuming. You can run up and down the stairs a few times. It doesn't have to be super complicated. It doesn't have to involve a lot of props. Just an opportunity to shake your body out and to relax a little bit. And we'll do that a little bit at the end during our practical session too. So secret number 1, move your body. Secret number 2 is that you've done this before, and I know that you have. Think about a time in your life where you sat down to do something, a hobby, a book, reading a book, or watching the ocean, and you sat down and started that activity or that task, and you looked up again and time had just flown by. And that, my friends, that's a meditative experience. So whether it's knitting, whether it's washing the dishes, whether it's getting a project done for work, whatever it happened to be, that was an experience of meditation. You went beyond time and space, and you leveraged a different part of your brain and a different part of your experience in order to have that focus and concentration. So that's secret number 2, is that you've done this before. It doesn't have to be a particularly new experience for you. It doesn't have to be particularly challenging. Just know that you've done it before. You've experienced some aspect of it before. Here's secret number 3, and that is that it's a game changer. You're looking at a little slide here with a picture of me in the background, and that was before I started my experience with meditation. Probably about 20 pounds heavier at a time in my life where I watched TV a lot. I was sitting on the couch smoking, and I just had this inner knowingness that if I didn't do something different, I was never going to reach my full potential. And in the course of acknowledging that for myself, I was talking to a friend, and I said, what can I do differently? Because I knew that at the very least I had to do something differently. And she said, why don't you start meditating? And I thought, that sounds interesting. What is that? So she said, sit down and breathe. And I thought, oh, okay. Well, that sounds super interesting and super easy. How about I give that a go? So one fine day, I chose my start date, and at the time I had a microwave, and I plugged in 1 minute on my microwave. I sat back down, and by the time I sat down, 10 seconds had passed. So here I was with 50 seconds left. And every few seconds, I opened my eyes and looked at the time and realized I had still time to go. And then towards the last 20 seconds, I kept my eyes closed. I just sat and took a few long, deep breaths. And at the end of that, I felt different. And it was almost counterintuitive. I thought, well, here I am sitting quietly. How come it feels like there's so much going on? And there was an intrigue. I felt intrigued by that idea. And from that 1 minute practice, I decided to do that daily. And after 11 days, I decided I could do a little bit more. I could do a little bit more, and I could do a little bit more. And so here I am, 15 years later, exploring and experimenting and now teaching. And I really find that no matter who you are, no matter where you are in your life, this can be a magic ingredient. It gives you that little advantage of staying calm in the middle of a storm. And we all know people like this who are unshakable. Something comes up at home or at work, and you kind of go to them because they tend to keep calm. And wouldn't it be great if you were that person and I'm that person? You just hold steady in the midst of everything. And that's the secret number 3, is that it's available to you. And when you do tap into it, it becomes like your secret sauce. So secret number 3, it's a game changer. It will not only change your life, it will also change you. Here's tip number 4, is that everyone can do it. When I alluded to this, I've been saying it to you gently over the last few slides, but here's my proof perfect. I was doing a laughter yoga session last year, and I had a group of grade 2 kids. Now, these kids were in grade 2, so about 5 or 6 years old for the most part. And we did a great laughter yoga session. We had lots of giggles. They were running around, and we really used laughter as a form of exercise. And towards the end of that 15-minute period with these group of young kids, and there must have been 200 of them in a school gymnasium, I said to them, okay, let's meditate. And without any further instruction, 90% of these kids, so almost the entire room, sat down, put their hands on their knees, closed their eyes, and sat still. And I was shocked. I looked around. The teachers in the room looked at me like, what did you do? And I really didn't do anything. What was amazing to me is all of these kids had some understanding, some intuitive kind of connection to what it meant to meditate. And that told me many things. It informed my experience. It said, hey, if these young kids can do it, anybody can do it. And that number 2 of that whole experience was that we need it. We're looking for it. We live in a time now where we can access information at our fingertips. I don't need to tell you that. Life is moving quickly, and that information is coming from all sorts of streams, and it's nonstop. And if you have the additional responsibilities of family to take care of and extra responsibilities at work, long work days, or in school, or you're studying, in addition to all of these other things, you know that there can be many heavy demands. And that taking a few minutes out of all of that to come back to a centering place gives us, again, that opportunity to just be who we really are instead of the voice of what everyone thinks we should be doing. So that's secret number 4, is that start anytime. Start now. Start today, and know that you're in the perfect place. If you're listening to this kind of recording, you're in a place to start. And so why not take advantage of that now? So from those young kids who gave me a really concrete example of, yes, we need it, and yes, it's possible, let's take that idea and use it to our best advantage. Here's tip number 5, is to use a technique. And that technique is a really powerful way to approach meditation. And I'll be honest with you, sitting down and closing your eyes and breathing is probably the most complex, because the mind wants to go everywhere. We've given the mind license to just be and look around and assess and take stock and do all of the acrobatics that it's used to doing. What's a little bit more concrete for the mind is to provide a few avenues. One of them is posture, the other one is breathing, the other one is mental focus, and doing all of those things in a particular order, in a particular fashion, really helps us to get to a place that feels calm and relaxed. And I think that's where yoga and meditation leads us to, is a place of calm and relax. It is an ancient science. We have been developing it as humans, developing it for thousands of years. And my proof that it works is that it survives. 5,000 years later, here we are exploring and experimenting, maybe not sitting in an isolated place on a mountaintop, but using it in our day-to-day, in our busy lives, via webinar, in our cars, in ways that can really leverage technology and also can use ancient technology to help us do better in any parts of our lives. So that's my 5 secrets for you. And I think it's really important now to apply those secrets and to take a few minutes out to explore and experiment with some practical postures and movement and breathing techniques. So join me now. We're going to sit tall and straight. So find a place where you are comfortable. Settle your feet right down onto the floor. Be comfortable and relaxed wherever you are. I'm going to play a little bit of sound in the background so that you know we're still on the line. And as you find yourself seated with your feet flat on the ground, bring your hands down to your knees. And here, gently close your eyes, provided you're in a safe spot. Close your eyes. And relax all your abdominal muscles. Just allow yourself to be soft in your midsection. And in just a few moments, you'll see that that helps to focus the breath. We're going to take a few opening breaths together, and then move our bodies, and then take a few moments to focus the mind. So take a deep inhale now through the nose. Hold the breath very slightly at the top, and then through the nose, slowly exhale. Inhale very deeply. And exhale. And one more time. Take a deep inhale. And exhale. Good, nicely done. Leave your hands on your knees. And this time, inhale and bring your shoulders up close to your ears. Bring them tight up against your ears. And then on your exhalation, relax your shoulders all the way down. And do that 2 more times. Inhale, drawing the shoulders all the way up close to your ears. Exhaling down. And one more time. Take a deep inhale, hold the shoulders all the way up. And then slowly, gently exhale. And then leave your shoulders down, leave your eyes closed for a moment. We do so much work at our small devices, at our keyboards, and we're driving. Our shoulders hold a lot of tension. So we're just releasing some of that now, giving your body a chance to relax. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Inhale, circle all the way to the back, making big circles. And then exhale, drop your chin towards your chest. And again, do that 3 times. Inhaling as you circle back. Exhaling, chin to the chest. And then one more round. And we go in the opposite direction now. Same exercise, opposite direction. We're doing work here now, rhythmically connecting with our breath. And all of these movements start to calm the nervous system. When we get agitated or engaged, all of our hormones get activated, adrenal system, our heartbeat goes a little faster, our breathing gets a bit shallow. And this is our sympathetic nervous system kicking in. Something's up. I need to come to attention. And when we move here softly, with the breath, we start to relax. We move into the parasympathetic nervous system, also known as rest and digest. Oh, good, nicely done. Bring yourself all the way to a straight spine. Come back to a tall, straight spine. Keep your feet on the ground. We're going to move the lower body. As you inhale now, lift your heels off the ground. Keep the toes on the ground and lift the heels up. Feel your calf muscles. And then exhale, lower your calf, lower your heels, and then lift up your toes. And then we'll do that a few times. Inhale, lift the heels up. Exhale, lower the heels down. Inhale, toes up. Exhale, toes down. And then one more round. Good. Good. From here, take your fingertips and push your fingertips together. Just going to do 3 breaths here. Inhale, push. Push your fingertips against each other. Your elbows are straight. Your forearms are parallel to the ground. Push, push, push. And then exhale, release. Inhale, push, 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 push. Push against your fingertips. Exhale, release. And then one more time, push. Activating chest muscles. And then opening the flow of energy to your heart, to your emotional heart, physical heart. Relax your hands all the way down. And now let's focus again on the breath. With your eyes closed here, inhaling softly, deeply, inhaling for a count of 4. And then exhaling for a count of 4. Inhale. Exhale. Turn your hands over so that both palms are facing up. And now here we'll introduce a sound. We'll use some words, affirming words, and the movement of your fingertips at the same time. The 4 words are peace begins with me. As you say the word peace, bring your thumb to touch your index finger, peace. Begins, touch the thumb and your middle finger together. With, touch the thumb and the ring finger together. Me, touch the thumb and the pinky finger together. Let's do that a few times together out loud. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. Last round. Peace begins with me. As a whisper now. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. Now silently keep those words moving in your mind. Keep your fingertips going at the same time. Silently moving the words, silently moving your fingers. Good. Here now, take a deep inhale. And through the nose, exhale. Take a deep inhale. Squeeze your hands into fists. Inhale, squeeze. Squeeze all of your muscles. Squeeze. And then exhale, release. 2 more times. Inhale, squeeze. And exhale, release. 1 more time. Inhale, squeeze all of your muscles. Squeeze your hands, your face, your lower body muscles. Tense everything. And then exhale, release. Sitting quietly for a moment, notice where you are now and how you started this call. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Count to 10 silently in your mind. And then when you get to 10, blink your eyes open, look around and smile. Nicely done, everyone. That was just a few short minutes of meditation. An opportunity to observe, to reflect, to go into a different place into your brain and into your day. And as I mentioned before, technique is really important. And I want to extend the learning that we have explored here by offering you access to my free online meditation challenge. It's a 40-day program. Every 7th day, I'll send you a new meditation, a new technique to explore, and it's only 5 minutes, so it's an opportunity to pause for 5 minutes a day with a guided experience. And all you have to do now is to send me your name and email address to my email address, salima.yogavision@gmail.com. You can find my email address on the screen in front of you, and that's available to you at any time, an opportunity to learn and to explore and take those learnings everywhere. It's done via podcast, which means you can access it from any place as long as you have access to Wi-Fi or internet. You can listen to the podcast and explore. 5 minutes a day for 40 days is an awesome way to start developing your practice. So thank you very much for joining me. My name is Salima, yoga therapist. My studio is Yoga Vision, just around the corner from Exit Realty's head office here in the Greater Toronto area. And you can find us online also at yogavision.com. Thank you, Samantha, for this opportunity to work with everybody online. And I'm wondering, is there any questions that your audience may have for me today?
Thank you so much, Salima. That was wonderful. I must say, if I may, that I think most of us start our day with quite momentum and find ourselves very wound by the end of the day. And even just taking those few minutes and listening to your voice and running through that meditative exercise, I already feel a lot more relaxed than I did before you arrived. So that was lovely. We do have a couple of questions. I'm curious to know what advice you could give to people who are really, ready to start incorporating meditation into their life, but feel maybe discouraged because they think maybe it's harder than it seems, or they can't quite, they don't feel like they're clearing their mind, and so they're not really sure that they're doing it. So as people encounter, feeling discouraged, what kind of advice would you give them?
Yeah, I think it's normal whenever you start something new to say, am I doing it right? It's a little bit tough go in the beginning, but it's like anything. Let's go back to the car analogy. We don't step into a car wanting to drive already knowing how to drive. And similarly to meditation, it's the piece of it, it's called a practice, because every day you're a little bit different, and every day what you're dealing with is a little bit different, and every day the practice will seem a little bit different. So I would say whatever that reflection was that you started with, I want more clarity, I want more focus, I want to be more loving, whatever it happens to be, use that as your guiding force. And then after you do a meditation practice, be open to whatever messages come up, or be open to, hey, I did this for myself, I did this for the greater good, and use that as your motivator. It's not really about doing it perfectly. It's about sitting down and doing it. Similarly to starting a new project or to raising a child, there are no handbooks. It's really an opportunity to learn as you go and to be a little risk-taking in that endeavor. Try something different, try something new. Sit with a group, take an online yoga meditation challenge, find a good teacher. These are all really important ways to stay on track, to commit to a practice, and to help yourself out of those moments of feeling discouraged. So those are some key things. And start small. It's not necessary to go for half an hour the first go. Start small.
Mm-hmm. And you know, to follow up on that, in terms of time for someone who's, you know, sort of brand new to this, what kind of time would you suggest that they set aside on a daily basis just to get started, just to get into the habit, to create that habit so that it becomes, you know, part of their lifestyle?
Yeah, the story that I told you was of my own story of sitting down for 1 minute, which actually ended up being 50 seconds or probably much less, was my starting spot. And so I would go back to that. We all have smart devices or something that you can watch the clock on. Before you leave the car, sit for a minute and put your timer on, sit for a minute, close your eyes, breathe. And see how that goes. See what it offers you. Notice your clarity. Notice the calmness in your body. And do that once a day.
Mm-hmm. I think we're also really fortunate, as you mentioned at the beginning of the session, that we have access to so much information, and on our smart devices, access to so many apps, and there are a plethora of apps out there for health and wellness, for tracking everything from your nutrition to setting up reminders on your phone to meditate. So we're kind of at a cool time right now where we have access to so much, and it's all really about disconnecting and getting back to self. So, you know, I think there are a lot of tools available for everybody to help make this become a habit.
Absolutely. We're pairing now, even with this online meditation challenge, pairing technology, current technology, with ancient technology. And I think that there's no accident that all of these things are happening around the same time.
Yeah, no, it's a good time to be here, I think. Salima, thank you so much again for joining us. It was a wonderful session. We really appreciate your time. And to everyone listening, thank you as well. As I mentioned at the beginning of this session, this will be the last Focus on Good Health webinar for 2016. However, please stay tuned to focusongoodhealth.com/events for upcoming webinars in the new year, and also for recording of this webinar, as it will be recorded and made available on both our website as well as the Exit Realty YouTube channel. So thanks again, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and be well.